you for another wonderful daily hug. I was quite flummoxed at first, but I must say, I've grown quite fond of this method to display one's affection.
Lol, you and your fancy words. I don't really get it, but here's another for the road. Hey, what's sparkling, little amethyst?
Ladica!
Oh, silky smooth skin as per usual. I'm totes gelling here.
You're first tickling me, but I like how warm it is.
Misty, I think that's long enough. I've got places I gotta bounce to, you know?
Oh, surely a little longer couldn't hurt. We don't do this as often as we should.
Yeah, that's enough for one day. Anyway, late. Looking a little haywire, Sapphire. Got something on your mind? You're cuter when you smile, Saph. Just like this. I'll never get tired of squishing those soft cheeks, babe.
Brassica? Is there a particular reason your behavior changes around Miss Tolina?
What? You're imagining things.
Negative. When you are in her presence, the pitch of your voice lowers by 19%. Additionally, she is the only person you do not regularly embrace upon seeing.
Oh, that's so?
Is there a particular reason?
Hi, Tetra! And Ladica too!
Drat, that's right. Totes forgot Balior needed me for a thing today. Sorry, duty calls.
Ladica?
Toodles!
I passed Ladica on the way here, Tetra. I certainly hope you two weren't having fun without me.
Actually,
I've thought the same thing for a while too.
Indeed, Ladica is rather fond of showing her affection through hugs and skin-to-skin contact. Yet I have no record in my memory bank of her doing so with Miss Tolina.
You don't think it's because she hates Miss Tolina, do you?
I would hope not.
Me too. I want us all to be friends.
Naturally. To me, Ladica and Miss Tolina are nothing short of family.
When we first came to this world, Ladica gave me a warm hug. And then Miss Tolina said we're all welcome to live here. I want to help them if I can, just like how Luna did once for me.
Agreed. Let us see if there is anything we can do.
My little sisters have grown so much. I can already feel the oil welling up in my tear ducts. Allow me to assist you both as well. It looks like we'll need some more data. It would be wise not to draw attention to ourselves, if possible. What do you say we split up for now?
Understood.
Let us focus on gathering data on Miss Tolina for now. After all, there isn't a soul in this forest unfamiliar with the Forest Princess.
Okay, we'll meet back up again after we're done.
I have heard that she often wanders the Western Forest.
Tetra? It is you. It's not often I see you around these parts.
Those flowers, were you visiting your sister?
I was. It's just quicker to cut through this way, you see. What about you?
I have been examining the forest. I understand Miss Tolina often wanders the Western Forest. Would you know the reason behind that?
The Western Forest. That section of the forest is still heavily blighted. She's likely making the rounds to see if it's safe to traverse.
Blighted. From when Viridia Magna went haywire, the blight corrupted not only beasts, but spirits as well, causing them to attack many others. Your sister among them.
Don't look so down about it. It hasn't been easy, but I've found peace in my own way since. I never thought I would end up finding such adorable sisters to look after. Every day is a new adventure for me now. Oh, that's right. Come here. There's something I think you'll want to see.
A tree trunk? The core has been completely bored.
It's known as the Hollow Trunk. It's a pretty well-known landmark here.
Something must have struck this tree with extraordinary power for this to happen.
It's always been like this as far as I know. Makes you wonder though, doesn't it?
Oh, I was too scared to say anything again.
Ania!
Roly-poly?
What's wrong, Ania? Let's turn that frown upside down.
Actually,
You want to learn about Miss Delina? Got it! I know just the fellow for you. Follow me!
the fellow you were talking about is Mouskers?
Yes, indeed. Meowskers is a major, which means he's majorly important around here. He said he'd teach us anything we wanted to know about. Isn't that right, Mr. Major?
Yes, of course. You can count on Major Meowskers for anything. So, what did you want to know about?
I wanted to learn more about Miss Delina. Like things that happened before we came here.
The Forest Princess. To be honest, it's been a minute since I've had a conflab with the princess. A private once told me about a creature known as the Bone Claw. A downright monstrosity that would rear its ugly head in the western forest.
The Bone Claw?
A terrible beast that attacks and eats children.
It eats children?
That's right. It sneaks up behind little critters with all its mighty might, dragging them deep into the forest, never to be seen again.
Oh my. Ania, you're not allowed to go to the western forest.
Fret not, my iron friend. The fiend was hunted down many a year ago.
The clashing of our fists and blades formed the very foundation of our friendship. But even with my new body, I still couldn't stack up against Miss Delina.
Seriously? I can't believe you were able to hold your own against the Forest Princess herself!
Hey, show some respect. She didn't mean to offend, Lady Mono.
None taken. More importantly, do you know what her childhood was like? Any famous stories, perhaps?
About the princess? Well, there's the one everyone loves bringing up. How she took out the Bone Claw by herself.
Oh, yeah. That one takes me back. The legend of the Beast's Grave, right?
A legend, you say? That sounds rather significant. Would you mind sharing the details with me?
Well, it's said that long ago, deep in the western forest, there lived a ferocious beast.
It struck trespassers without mercy. In fact, it became such a problem that the nearby residents were forced to move.
I see. And I assume the one who put an end to it all was none other than Miss Delina herself?
Exactly. But she never divulged where the legendary battle supposedly took place.
Some children took it upon themselves to find the fabled location, the Beast's Grave.
It seems that we can draw several conclusions from the data gathered. There are the remains of a great tree in the western forest that was mostly obliterated by a great force. All that remains is the hollow trunk.
Something known as the Bone Claw lived in the western woods. We heard it ate and attacked children, but it was hunted down a long time ago.
The one who supposedly hunted the Bone Claw down was Miss Lina herself, many years ago. Although the location of their battle was never uncovered, it became known as the Beast's Grave.
It all leads to the western forest.
Precisely. This Bone Claw was likely responsible for the hollow trunk and was eventually defeated at the Beast's Grave.
Wow. Miss Lina's amazing though, right? She took down that monster all by herself. Mono, are you feeling okay?
Right as rain, dear sister. But indeed, Tetra, that explanation does seem to be the most plausible, and yet I'm not fully convinced.
What do you mean?
Perhaps it's only me, but I can't shake the feeling that this Bone Claw is none other than the Ladica we know and love. The Stone Claw and the Bone Claw. The data isn't conclusive, but the names are simply too similar to rule her out. I would argue that the latter name is simply a modification of the former, or perhaps a misinterpretation at the very least. And lastly, the question of this hollow trunk. According to my calculations, the amount of strength required to pull something like that off would need to be on par with my Alpha Drive. There's only one person who fits the profile.
But wait, Mono, Ladica wouldn't ever attack people like that.
Indeed. However, the blight that once plagued this forest caused various forms of life to attack people indiscriminately. Perhaps Ladica once fell victim to the same corruption.
Oh no.
The most likely story, considering the data we currently have, is that Ladica was corrupted by the blight and then defeated by Miss Lina. Of course, I certainly hope this wasn't the case.
I don't believe it. I won't believe it. Ladica is a good person. She's always helping others.
And who decides what is good or bad, exactly?
Valdane?
Take, for example, the hungry tiger. It hunts down and kills its prey not out of malice, but out of instinct. The blight strips one of all higher thought. Well, as much higher thought you can expect a beast to have anyway.
Do you mean to say that Ladica had lost herself to the blight, and Miss Lina was forced to confront her with violence?
I can't think of many other ways to confront a senseless beast.
That's enough, Valdane.
Balion?
I'm sorry you three had to hear that.
Was that a joke?
Some self-deprecating humor, if you will. I had no idea you were speaking of the Stone Claw.
The blight does not affect people, so you need not be concerned for Ladica or Miss Lina.
I don't appreciate having my precious sisters frightened, I'll have you know. Is it forever in your nature to play the antagonist?
How did you realize he was lying?
His roundabout speech patterns, as much as I hate to admit it, aren't so different from my very own. The true meaning is always found between the lines.
So, what is the relationship between those two then?
If you desire the answer so badly, hunt it down for yourself. Seek the place where it all began, the beast's grave.